Rubber ducky. Oh. How was school anyway?
Good.
I'm tired of shit. It was a long day. Rubber ducky, you're the one. I'm fucking hungry. Yeah.
When I get 30 minutes to eat, yeah, I'm pretty hungry.
Well, it is what it is. What's going on, not a sponsor? So I know you were in here yesterday. These are only my daughter's guns. Finishing up some work. Yeah. It's all right. What kind of work do you do? And if I forget to later, thanks for jumping in here like you do. I do appreciate it. Commercial security and life safety. There you go. You own your company or are you employed? J&K Noob? I know. J Lee? Yeah, they're all fake. Every time, man. So, these are just my daughters. Yeah. You guys got me, man. I got the fucking, like, world's biggest replica collection, right? So these are my daughter's rifles. In order to show my sons, I was looking at them when we were pulling these out. I either need a bigger table, a wall, or we'll just do his stuff too. Fire alarm expert. That's awesome. So, yeah, I'm sure you're all ready too. I'm glad it's Friday. Thank God. Week went great. Today though, man, just a complete bag of crap. Ruger Chargers seem to be a pretty popular gun. I don't own one. I'm sure you're gonna put a pistol brace on it or do an SBR. 8-inch barrel and a 22. That's, I mean, you're not gonna gain a whole lot more velocity in a longer barrel, but that suppressed, I imagine, would be a pretty good setup. That's classy. Thank God it's Friday. Ticket for speeding. How fast were you going? How many points and how much? Yeah, I'm glad it's the weekend. 81 and a 60. Yeah, that'll hurt you a little bit. 4 points probably. What is that? 70, 80, 20 over, 19 over. Did he probably cut you a break? How fast were you really going? Yeah, they gave me a break. Non-moving violation because I asked. That's all right. Sometimes cops can be cool with shit like that.
I'm gonna go upstairs because my friend keeps calling me.
All right.
So I'll be talking to her.
So these are my daughter's guns. I mean, yesterday I said I'd show some of my kids' guns, right? So to be able to show my sons and daughters, I don't have enough room, but these are the guns my daughter has. The Smith & Wesson 1522. That's gun she shoots the most. She shoots Steel Challenge with it. And I got her Shadow Systems in here. You guys have seen that before. That purple Ruger, or yeah, it's purple. That's hers. The lavender revolver, that's hers. The Glock 44 on top, that's mine. Yeah, it's Rascal. A little savage. The Glock 44 though, she took. She's really the one who shoots it. So, but for any you dads or people getting out with your kids, these are the options that we had. The pink one's that Savage Rascal. It's a just a single shot, 22 long rifle. It's got the Accu trigger in it. Good gun for a young kid, that 5, 6 year old. Yeah, it wasn't crazy expensive or anything. My middle son has one too, except his has the wood stock. Super, super lightweight, and it's a good shooter. It shoots. Unfortunately, she's well past it now, but she did like shooting it. That was subsonics was the ticket. It was like for her shooting a pellet gun then, right? Yeah, and that's the intention for these two. I mean, they're gonna have kids, right? So hopefully my daughter has a daughter, or maybe if she doesn't, at least she could swap with the boys. But you buy something like that to give them so their kids can learn how to shoot on it too. Should be some sentimental value there, I would think. That's her Henry Golden Boy. Both my middle son and daughter both have one of them. That was actually, I got that right before Hurricane Sandy, when it took out the Henry plant in New York. That one was still made in wherever it was in New York. I forget. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. But it took out their factory. That was manufactured there. For a good year after that, you couldn't get any Henry 22s because there was none out there because the factory got wiped out. It's 22 long rifle, so you can shoot 22 shorts, 22 longs, 22 long rifle high velocity, everything in there. I think it holds 17 rounds, just standard 22 long rifle. Josh, how you doing? I should buy one of them for myself, so I like it. It's got the octagon barrel on it, the brass receiver, obviously. Beautiful, beautiful wood. I mean, every man loves good wood, right? But phenomenal shooters, both of theirs are, and it's a fun gun to shoot. So when you got kids, right, you got to keep them entertained. If they load a magazine and just dump a mag, that's fun. If you give a kid something like a pump action or a lever action or even a bolt action, it keeps their attention longer because they're doing more. They're not just putting in a mag, racking it, and emptying a mag. So the experience, right? The experience of shooting the firearm is a lot more interested. Yeah, 444. It's a good size rifle. Yeah, that's goes right with what I was saying because it's a single action only. Each time, they got to shoot it, click or cock it, and then manually loading and ejecting each round. It's great fun for them. One, it slows them down on the amount of ammo they actually consume, but two, it gives them a good experience. It's a lot more. I know my son and daughter both love shooting them single actions. Uh, I mean, they're fun. The Heritages are very affordable. Um, the Rugers are real affordable. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. My daughter, she loves the 1522, and she'll focus with that. Uh, but she, unless we're shooting a steel challenge match, she goes out and she wants to make dumps, you know, which that's fine. You know, put a silhouette target up and let her make dump on it. It's it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It does. It makes them think about it, and it also helps get their finger off the trigger in between shots because you know they have to rack it. Yeah, the Savage, Big O. How are you doing? I'm glad to see you. I actually, since you're here, Big O, I was gonna, or will on my other channel, I'm gonna green screen um, your latest short. Right? Happy belated birthday. um, so yeah, they're good guns to get them interacted. And I bought that MP5 clone for my daughter too, and I don't know. There's only so much room. I am building her an AR-15. If I had more room, I would have shown that too. You bet, Big Ol'. I'll dig your stuff. That ice cream truck is the bomb. Um, and I apologize. I don't remember what the dish was, but man, it made me hungry. So, but I'm building her an AR. Uh, for me, she's still got a little bit of time to go before I give her a. Not that she couldn't shoot it, but I don't want her starting to flinch off of an AR. Um, I'm gonna give her probably another year, but for the last couple years and the last couple of birthdays, I'll buy her some parts. I got a real nice upper, a real nice receiver. I sent them out. I had them pink Cerakoted. Um, I have her name engraved into it. Uh, I have nice mid-length 16-inch barrel. Um, I don't think I have a trigger yet. I got her a Faxon bolt carrier, uh, which is kind of cool for a girl. It's that chameleon, so it changes color. Uh, I wouldn't I wouldn't rock it in my gun, but for a girl's rifle, all pink with that, it's pretty cool looking. So I was trying to think, was it last night I think or maybe the other live, what optic I have on that 1522. It's just a Vortex. I couldn't remember what it was, but you see it's small, real lightweight. The gun itself is pretty light. The forearm is from Tactical 22. Uh, and that actually it's a Tacon 3MR trigger, but it's the original version that they came out with years ago back in, was it 2015? $500 trigger. Uh, it's got the assisted reset, but she doesn't even know it's there. A few times she's swung it to the third position. She's like, "What's wrong with this?" And I haven't told her. Um, so I changed the trigger spring in it years ago when I got it, and it breaks at 3 pounds. It was at like 4.5. Um, and well, they're out of business now. I know somebody else bought the name, but they told you it was unserviceable. You can't take it apart. And within a day, I had it apart, and I put JP Enterprise springs in it. So I have the same trigger in my oldest's AR. Um, they weren't what I thought they were going to be. They're not like the forced reset triggers are. But if you learn how to run it, it definitely it's a fast split time. You can cut your split times in half. But that's what I know. Nothing real crazy. Um, so all you guys that did jump in here, give me a double tap on the screen. I appreciate that. um, so Big Ol, I did a live a few times, and some younger guys. they were asking if I could do one for kids. Well, obviously I can't do a live with firearms for kids. So what I figured I would do is exactly what I did, uh, and just show the guns that I have gotten from my kids. So, oh yeah, I know I'm hungry as hell too. Long week, long week's over. Gloomy day. Sam, how are you doing? I don't think I've seen you in a live before. Patriot, there you are. So I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna explain my philosophy now, Patriot, about modifying firearms and or um, just doing the upgrade. So when you buy a gun, it's normal to modify it, right? You buy like that RXM, I think they're what, 250, $300. You're gonna buy a set of sights for it. That's another $150 for a decent set of Dawson or something. Before long, you end up changing the barrel, respringing the gun, and then you get the guys who'll change the slides. Well, by the time you're that far into it, you could have something that's already done. And the reason that matters to me at this point is eventually my guns are going to go to somebody else, right? You have a $300 gun and you stuck $700 into it. That doesn't make it a $1,000 gun. It's still a $300 gun. Um, if you take that $1,000 gun, such as like why I bought the shadow systems, it's still worth what it was. You're not losing that money. It's better to pay. My opinion, mind you, I was a gunsmith for years. I built custom guns for people, and I loved it. I do, but after a while, if you can buy a gun that's done, it's got good sights, it's sprung right, it's got a good action. Um, I think I think you're just further ahead uh, to just go that route to start with. But part of the fun of firearms, cars, motorcycles, anything is they're like Legos, right? People who grew up playing with Legos like to tinker and build and change and do their own thing. Um, that's how I still am. I still tinker on plenty, but big O, I appreciate it. I love shooting with my kids. That's the whole purpose of this channel. So I got in a big feud with that cooking with love. I had a video I put of a squib with my son, right? And this cat from Castaway ENT went on this video and started talking a bunch of shit, which is whatever, man. So I went to his channel and we went back and forth for quite a while. And in the middle of all this, that cooking with love chimed in and he started talking shit to me in the thread with that Castaway ENT. All right, that's fine. And then he went into my videos and he started talking trash about my daughter shooting and my son shooting. And so I went in his live one night. I'm like, hey, man, I'm here to, have this conversation. And man, that guy fucking blew up and um, everything just went round and round. And it's funny because he denies it, you know. And all right, we blew it off. And then he started reporting comments for hate speech. And all right, whatever, you're a piece of shit. And it's funny because the whole time he's saying, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't this. And I got the stuff, right? So then he started going and straight up screen recorded content on my kids shooting. And it's been on ever since. So I know you're subscribed to his channel. That's the story behind that. Phantom muzzle broke. I'm a dad. I wouldn't consider myself a great dad. I could do better. There's a lot of things I could do better. I do my best. I like spending time with my kids. I like going shooting with them. I like watching them grow as people and shooters. My kids are real heavy into martial arts too, so it's stuff like that that makes a good person later. I want my kids to be better than me. Eagle Charity, congratulations. That's a good thing. Take it serious. You know what I mean? It's cool to go out and have fun. But always be safe. I was told this lesson a long time ago. With every bullet you fire, every cartridge that you discharge, there's a lawyer attached. If you're out shooting, even at a gun range, right? We're out shooting at a gun range, and one of our projectiles leaves that range, and it travels 3 miles away, right? And here's a little lady 3 miles away knitting a blanket for her great grandson, and you wax her, right? Kills her. You're going to prison. Accident, whatever. It's still manslaughter. You still go to prison. And I've remembered that. So even when we're out playing or shooting, I think about the worst case scenario because you own that projectile. You own it. And there's no way you can look at a jury and say it was an accident because it's still manslaughter. So that's my little preach that I give to a lot of new shooters and stuff. Just, it's a big responsibility. If you get into shooting, and yeah, I appreciate it, Big O. And the thing is I'm not gonna bang on him. He got mad because he did that, and I went and he kept saying, "You can green screen any of my videos. You can green screen all my stuff. I don't care." So I started scrolling through his videos, and this is horrible, but hear me out. I green screened one of his mom's obituary. He had it on his channel, opened a green screen, so I green screened it. And suddenly it wasn't cool no more, and I was the most evil person on earth. And it was to show the guy, hey, even though you may have something open for a remix, there's just certain things you don't do, right? Just like you said, you don't mess with people's families. You just don't, you know. But I'm not going to make my channel about him. I'm not going to carry on. I haven't even discussed any of that on this channel. But I hope you realize I got enough respect for you that I'm going to tell you what's going on. So, yeah, I'm. The longer you have firearms, though, you'll find things to change. You'll always find things to change. So I didn't want to type all that to you, Patriot. Yeah, that's truth. Maybe you missed part of that story, but they are, not only a kid, right? But your wife, your mom, your family. You want to attack me personally? Hey, man, we'll go round and round and round. I'm cool with it. I don't even think you can call him videos. He sits there and just boasts. But I don't want to chat. You want to attack a person or whatever, and then you get confronted by him. Hey, this is what's up. You know what I mean? Have that conversation. Don't be a little turd and lie about it. I mean, own it. So I don't wanna focus on that. But I'm not gonna even mention his name. It was kind of I think Patriot knows who he is, and Big O, because Big O showed me the respect to jump in here, and I know he follows that guy pretty close. I just wanted to give him another side of it, But the guy isn't worth mentioning. He's a captain green screener who has gotten a ton of subscribers from green screening other people's videos. Which, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But then you can't go on a channel and talk crap about all these other channels that are smaller and saying how insignificant or puny or you know, whatever they are. It's just a schmuck, just a schmuck. So, but regardless, so we got the kids' guns on here. Um, Patriot, these are my daughter's guns. That's her Henry Golden Boy, Savage Rascal. I got her Shadow Systems up here, her 22 Ruger, her 22 single action Ruger, Glock 44, and then that 1522. I got that MP5 clone I bought her too, but out of room. And then I have an AR-15. So I'm telling you not to modify guns, and I'm building her a gun, right? But you know, it's kind of a hard thing. It's kind of a double standard for me. In one aspect, you know, it's worth spending the money up front and getting a really quality firearm. In other aspects, like with her AR, it's cool every year. Christmas and her birthday for the last, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years, I give her another part to the gun. I expect another year, 2 years, and she'll be ready to start shooting an AR-15. When she's ready to start shooting an AR-15, hers will be complete. So I got her a pink upper and a lower. I sent them out, got them Cerakoted hot pink, almost the exact same color as this 22. I got her a Faxon bolt carrier, one of the chameleons, so it changes colors, kind of cool. I got her a nice 1 and 8 223 Wild mid-length barrel. I appreciate it, Sam. Tennessee's a pretty cool place. I appreciate you jumping on here and showing some support. My middle son's AR, I did the exact same thing with him too, and I'm probably gonna have to do another live and show his stuff. But I built his out too, same way over a course of about 5 years, and it's a really badass gun. So, Big O, do you have kids? I don't think I've seen you post anything. Oh, your sombrero's kind of badass too. Definitely tell you're a Texas boy. So, I don't think you've talked about any guns you've gotten for your kids yet, Patriot. And if you have, I just glossed over it. All right, see you later, Sam. I appreciate it again. Give it a double tap on the screen. Obviously, you know Big O. If you don't know Patriot Arms, check him out. D-Dog Tactical, check his channel out too. These are great people. So, how much did that ticket end up being? I don't think, unless I missed it, I don't think you said. You just said what you got nabbed for, 210. That sucks. You know, could be worse. But the last 2 times I got pulled over, yeah, I bet I mean, $200 hits the pocket. The second to last time I got pulled over, both times were on my road glide. I was coming into a small town, and it went from 55 to 25, and I knew I was speeding. I just, letting off the throttle, blah, 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 blah. And I get into town, I'm still going about 35, 40-ish, and I look over, and there's a cop sitting in the parking lot radar, and I instantly pulled over because he saw me, I saw him, he dropped the radar gun, I pulled over, and he come up, he's like, man, he told me I got you, and I'm like, yeah, I was slowing down. He goes, oh, I know you were slowing down, I could hear you a mile away. He said, you just weren't slowing down quick enough. And he was real cool about it. He come back, I told him I had my concealed carry, and all I did with that is when I handed him my ID, I always put my concealed carry card on top. You don't want to look at a cop and be like, I got a gun, so I always just take my concealed carry card and put it on top of my license, hand them both. And he scrolled it over. He handed me that back. He asked me if I was armed. Yep. Where? Left hip. Cool. And he came back. It was just a warning. And the very last time I got pulled over, man, I should have went to jail. So I was on my Road Glide. I redid the front suspension on it. I had a high-speed wobble. Well, high-speed wobbles, 90 miles an hour. And if I'm cruising, I'm cruising. And I got on the highway and I'm on it. And it felt good at 90, felt good at 110. I'm doing about 120, 130-ish. And and it was early Sunday morning. There wasn't a lot of traffic. There was some semis getting up on the highway. Well, what I didn't realize is there was a county cop right into him. I am wrong-handed. There's a county cop right there, and I'm coming up just wow, cracking on it, right? And I get up to the front of this semi. I look over, and there's a deputy, and man, his eyes got big. My eyes got big. I hit the brakes, slowed down, and he's shaking his head. He never even put his lights on. He just pointed, like fuck. And I don't know if he actually had me on a radar, but he knew I was moving. Um, yeah, everybody wants to talk shit. But he pulled me over, uh, took my ID and stuff. I don't know if he was in the middle of something else, or if again, he asked me what I was doing. I said, "Hey, I had a high speed wobble." He's like, "Well," I'm like, "It's not a high speed at 70." You know, he took my ID, went and ran my information, come back, and he said, "You better slow it down, or I'm taking you to jail next time." And he went. So I'm assuming he probably had something else going on, but it was kind of one of them things too where he had to stop me. So other than that, I've had a pretty good record. I have a CDL for my job, so I have to be extra careful about how I drive or vehicle infractions. Um, my car, I'm great. I barely ever speed in that. On my bikes, I'm horrible. You know, horrible at that. I didn't know she was pregnant. Congratulations. Congratulations, man. That's part of it too. Um, so it's funny, like when I first started initially having this conversation with that guy, he clicked on my channel, then he clicked in videos, and he saw, um, and this is the night that it kind of all blew up. He went to my daughter's channel, and he's showing my daughter's picture on there, saying, "Look at the little piggy wiggies." Like whatever. And then he did the same thing to my son, because they commented on videos too. Um, my daughter was crazy because I mean it was uncalled for. You're not how are you gonna talk shit about kids? But that's messed up. It's that's about all. I mean, I would love to say a whole lot more, but at the end of the day, it's he's insignificant. Uh, just a loudmouth dude. Um, I like every dad. You get offended when somebody talks crap. When I showed the video, like I was originally talking with my son, he had a squib. We shared it. How are you gonna be disrespectful about that? It was one of them once in a million things that happens, and I happened to be videotaping them, so we shared it. You know, uh, there's no reason to be disrespectful or anything like that. But as a man, I get offended, right? Somebody talks shit about my kids. I mean, I take that real personally and real serious. Um, maybe more than I should. I mean, I've chosen to show them shooting and competing. And there's a lot of people that talk trash, but when it's trash talking is one thing, but when they start making it like a personal attack uh, on a kid, that's a whole nother thing, you know. So, but that is what it is. I don't want to get all up on that. It's whatever. Um, at the end of the day, we're gonna keep doing what we do. I'm gonna keep showing my kids shooting because I value that. I value that time with them. I hope that other kids, other parents, maybe will be like, "Hey, I should get my kid out and do some shooting. We haven't done that." Or people are gonna be like, you know, um, I appreciate it, Big O. I really do. I like I like to share. I like to share the shooting, and hope that you know somebody will get motivated to do it, right? I mean, a lot of us have kids and we have guns, but they all think, man, my kid's too young, get them to the range. You can take the most hyperactive ADHD kid and get them out and get them shooting, and you'll see a kid calm down. I mean, it's a good thing for them. You know, it's a good thing. I I love my constitutional rights. I love uh, my country, and I want more people to get out and enjoy them rights. People that value any one of their rights: freedom of speech, Second Amendment, um, the right to not have unlawful search and seizure, the right to remain silent. All your rights. Not only your constitutional but your um, legal rights. If people don't exercise them and they don't value it, they're willing to give it up. All these leftists that are anti-gun, they're willing to give up their firearm rights, and they're willing to try to take mine. And at the end of the day, I always tell people, I can respect your opinion. Doesn't mean I like it, but I can respect that. And because you have the right to say that, you have the right. Doesn't give you the right to take my rights away. Because if you want to take my rights away, let's take your freedom of speech away. So you can go shut the fuck up in the corner. But that's just me. That's me being that asshole. Uh, but everybody has the right to an opinion. You know, it's always the squeaky wheels that get the grease. Always that loudmouth guy that's crying and pissing and moaning. Um, at the end of the day, we just have to accept some people have different beliefs and feelings. Some people have different values and different things that they feel are important. Some people, they want to be Muslim or Jewish, or not Jewish race, but Jewish religion. Anything out there, that's their choice. I can say I don't like it, I can talk shit about it, but I don't have the right to take it away. That's where the line. Um, I'm not sure which pistol. There's four of them up here. There's a Shadow Systems. Uh, there's a Ruger Mark IV 2245 Light. Uh, I'm trying to think. The Ruger, I think it's a Bearcat. I can't remember. I think it's a Bearcat. And then there's a Glock 44. I can't even remember what that 22 is. Orange Smoke 2 days in a row. Yeah, I told you guys I'd do it. Honestly, I didn't really want to do it when I came home. Uh, I talked to Patriot this morning, and I told him I'd do a live today, so I wanted to explain something to him, and I didn't feel like typing. Man, trying to type somebody at 6 o'clock in the morning is just brutal. I wake up at 4 a.m. and go to work at 5, and I don't really wake up till like 10 o'clock. That's a Viafan and two rock stars, then I'm kind of able to function. But I remember yesterday I said I'd show my kids' guns today. These are just my daughter's. I don't have that MP5 clone on here. I bought her, but this is what she's accumulated or that I have gotten for her. The 1522. That's the uh, rifle that she has been shooting with Steel Challenge. Yeah, it's they are that AI is just out of control. I had my dog walk through a frame, I don't know, a few weeks back, and they kicked me off for handling firearms. So I don't do anything with the cameras now. I set it up and I leave it set. I lock the dogs out in the other room. I try not to even like walk by and have any of my body in frame. But Orange Smoke, how was your day? Uh, I thank you again for jumping in here and showing that support. Um, that's about all I got. So, but my daughter shot last night. She shoots that junior marksmanship. She shot really good. Um, that's a Ruger Wrangler. Thank you, thank you. complete brain fart on that. I told you, man, I'm wiped, just burnt right out. Why aren't they legal to sell in Minnesota? My son, my middle son, Gage, he has the same Wrangler, but I got his in burnt bronze, um, pot metal. Huh. Bang for your buck, they're decent. I mean, similar gun to like that. The next cheaper one would be the Wrangler, but I think I think when I bought his, I got it for him for his birthday. Yeah, Minnesota. We can. I ain't gonna bang on Minnesota. I don't even have the like drive to bang on anyone today. That's crazy. I didn't. I didn't. I didn't know that. I mean, I'm curious why. What justification they're saying. I mean, but my middle son, he shot his Wrangler quite a bit. Um, he spent about, I don't know, maybe about a year shooting it real heavily, and then I got him introduced to some of the 22 pistols, semi-autos, my Walther 22 and GSG, and then I moved him right into a 9mm, and now he's been competing with pistol. Huh? That's weird. I would have never known that. Some of these states, I mean, they come up with the craziest rules, and I think it's just a way that they can pass gun control or legislation, and people are like, oh, well, clearly pot metal is a dangerous thing to make firearms out of. It makes sense. It's safety, but it's just a way for them to ban anything. You know, that's one thing I can say about my state is it's a pretty gun-friendly state, even for having a Democrat now as a governor for a while, um, or the Democrat senators or um, the House of Representatives that we have. They're not real. They're not pushing for anti-gun legislation. You should join Wisconsin, Upper Peninsula, uh, Minnesota, at least the good part of Minnesota. I'll become part of Wisconsin, Illinois. Uh, I think Indiana wants to pick part of that up. I don't think there's anything wrong with states or counties, right? Maybe major parts of it either forming their own state or, I mean, breaking off against clearly a majority of people that don't share the same values. I mean, I'd be curious if like California would get their shit together and just be like, hey, we can have two different states, Northern California, Southern California, or Eastern and Western, but the stuff is so split up that I don't know. Yeah, Orange Smoke, I don't know if you knew that, but Patriot grew up in Minnesota. It's weird too, like you go over county or state lines, how different, Minnesota and Wisconsin are, or Wisconsin and Illinois. Um, just how different the people are, the values, um, the beliefs, the culture. It's, I don't know. And even in my state, right? You go down south by Madison and Milwaukee, uh, they're very, very democratic and very liberal, almost to a fault. And you get the whole central part of the state, northern part of the state. they're just the opposite, you know. Yeah. Illinois is a shithole. There's some parts of it that are really cool. I am. Yep. You know, one of our senators, Tammy Baldwin, she's on the Defense Acquisitions Committee. So she's real good for my job. She supports it. I don't know how our governor stayed in office. I mean, he's out there. But it's kind of weird, like this last election. You know, kind of like Ohio. You know, it's a swing state, and it's weird because when Biden was elected, I still to this day, I don't know anybody that voted for him. Nobody, at least, will admit it. You know, and this time, same thing. I don't know anybody that voted for him. It just my kid's home. Yeah. Yeah, Ohio's come a long way. You work tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, school. Yeah. I was surprised how many places turned and stayed red, but I was equally as shocked, you know, with Biden, how many. He didn't win. He couldn't have won. And I still don't believe that. Princess Bride, yeah. Wife's home, kid's home. He's got to go to work. So he's going to Spain this summer. So at 14, the kid got a job. He actually got two jobs. He works at Culver's and he works at Arby's. And he's paying for this trip himself. How much is the trip? Like $5,000?
Yep.
So he's been working hard for a year now. To be able to pay for this trip himself. So he's going through school, through orchestra, right? That's not orchestra. What do they call it?
He does orchestra through school, but it's through Rock Infused Orchestra. It's a statewide thing.
Statewide thing. Culver's pays him pretty good, but he doesn't get a lot of hours. But from what he says, because like I said, he works at Arby's a couple nights a week, and he can only work a couple hours a day, right, because of his age. But then he'll work at Culver's usually Saturday during the day and a little bit during Sunday. He's going for the orchestra.
Rock Infused Orchestra.
Rock Infused Orchestra. So they're going to go play for
4 different concerts in Spain.
4 different concerts in Spain. You probably hear all that. When he comes down, I'll have him tell you about it. I mean, I should know more, but I'm in a brain fog today, just burnt. But yeah, he's paying this all off. I give the kid credit, man. He's like frugal as hell. He doesn't like spending money, so that's a good thing. And he does have the goal. He wants to pay for this trip. And the truth be told, we'd pay for it. But if he can
Appreciate it more.
do it himself, that's a life lesson right there. That's going to teach that boy he can do anything he wants. So. But he plays cello. I wish
Starting in Barcelona, I know that much.
they start in Barcelona. Hey Gage,
He's still getting
All right. I'll have him tell you about it. He's got to take off here pretty quick, but he can tell you about it anyway. But yeah, 15 years old now, and to be able to go to Spain, that's gonna be pretty cool. Not gonna lie, it's kind of interesting going and getting him a passport and everything, and but it should be a good thing for him. I mean, I've never been to Spain. I don't know if any of y'all have, but he so he knew already in like 7th grade in middle school that. Tell us about Spain.
We're going there for 10 days, playing orchestras all over Spain, traveling pretty much the entirety of the country anyway.
It's at 22.
We'll be playing 10 different songs you have to have fully memorized. We're first going to Madrid, and we're playing in front of a castle as well, spending nights in 5-star hotels. At least what they said. And total trip cost was like $5,500.
Yeah. Did y'all hear all that? I'm sure you did. He plays
cello.
Yeah, plays cello. Brian, how are you doing? We all have addictions and need help. He plays cello. But yeah. So these, I know some of you were asking what caliber and stuff the Henry is. I didn't want to interrupt him. These are my daughter's firearms. These are the things I've gotten for her and got her to start shooting. No, it's a Ruger. I got it for, I think I gave her that for Christmas last year. Her Ruger? Or was it her birthday?
Revolver?
Yeah.
Revolver, that was her birthday, and then...
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of us can afford the addiction. But, if you start giving blowjobs at the truck stop, $20 is $20. And really, it equates to more than $20 because then you don't have to go buy supper either. You already got a full stomach.
So it's more, rather than $20, it's more like 50.
Yeah, it's more like $50. It's a Henry on the left-hand side. I got one of them for my daughter and my son. Yeah. They're cool to shoot. I really need to buy one for myself because it's a fun gun to shoot and it's accurate as hell. I know, man, that's horrible, ain't it? Absolutely horrible. But I don't know. Like I said, I just figured I'd show what she has, and I think tomorrow, if I do one, or at some point this weekend, I'm gonna show. People have asked about like some black powder guns. We only have a couple. No, not for that type of addiction. Well, the Ruger is a single action. The Henry, of course, it's a repeating lever action. The purple Savage Rascal there is a single shot bolt action. She competes with the 1522 now. She shoots Steel Challenge with that. She's been doing that for 2 years with that. The gun on top, very top handgun, that's a Glock 44. That's been her gun starting to introduce her to semi-automatics. That's the gun that kind of forced me to buy the Shadow Systems for her because she likes that gun, likes the frame, likes the way it feels. So time to get her to a 9mm. I stepped up to that MR 920p, and because going from a 22 to a 9mm, which she hasn't shot all of, I got the Shadow Systems with the comp to help her make it feel more softer and a little less muzzle flip, get her shooting, kind of like giving her a Band-Aid, but it'll make it more enjoyable for her. Yeah, they'll. Good thing with your bench guns though is, you know, they probably don't have any recoil at all. I'm sure they're heavy, heavy as hell. My oldest likes my long range AR. That's super heavy. It's a good gun for kids to get out and shoot. It keeps their focus because there's a lot of interaction, right? Each time you shoot, obviously you know this, you got to cock it. Um, so it's more than just pulling the trigger a bunch of times. And then the way you load them, right? One round at a time, manually eject it. You know, it's good. It's good for them to keep their focus and attention. And the longer you keep their focus and attention, the longer you get to shoot, or they get to shoot. So it's good. Um, uh, I wouldn't. No, not yet for her. So she can shoot my checkmate, right? And I shoot major in that. The problem with that gun and the reason we went with the polymer is it's heavy. There's no way she can shoot an entire course of fire holding onto it. It's a heavy gun. That's got a big comp on it. So it doesn't have a whole lot of recoil. I mean, the gun moves. It's going to move, but it's loud. That's why I'm not worried about the comp with her on this Shadow Systems. She does okay with the loudness, but the softer I can make it, the more she can focus on shooting and not fighting recoil. Um, but she'll be competing with that this year as soon as spring shooting starts. She'll be shooting USPSA with it, so it should be a lot of fun. My daughter is 11, so she started competing at Steel Challenge with 22s at 9. So she's done it now for 2 full years. All right, Brian, you get back to work. I appreciate you jumping on. Um, I have a 416. I got it uh, 2000, I don't know, 11 or 12 or somewhere right in there when they actually first started importing HKs. And now they have their MR whatever, but I got actual HK 416. Semi-auto, it's a civilian version, but they only imported them for, it wasn't even a year. They were expensive. It was like $3,500 for it, which is about what they go for now. But no, we don't do anything like that. That's just a fun gun for her. Um, but she'll be shooting USPSA, so it'll be, draw, multiple targets, reloads, and a lot of movement, a lot of stage movement. In the fall here, I took her to a match, so she could actually ask the chief range officer, the match director, if she can have a stool. Because like a lot of the ports and stuff you shoot through, she's not going to be able to shoot. And when I was talking to her in the fall about it, she was all nervous and worked up. And it's the same match director that does the Steel Challenge, but she had to go up and be like, "Is it okay when I come shoot next year if I have a step so I can shoot through the windows?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, no problem." So I bought her, it's stupid. It's just a little plastic step stool, but I bought her a little step just to make her comfortable. Um, I didn't even know they had any of that here. There's so many games, shooting games out there, and they're all fun, and they all turn into an obsession. I'm not from Minnesota, no. But she likes to shoot. All my kids have really liked to shoot. Um, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for them to know later in life. I mean, Ammo Alchemist. Hey, did you see I sent you another another of the green screen things. Ammo, these are my daughter's rifles, or firearms, not rifles. I have one AR that I'm building. I've been building it for, I don't know, 5, 6 years now. Every Christmas, every birthday, I get her a part for it. Yeah, it's funny as hell. You see, it is funny. What are you up to? I didn't even check to see if are you doing a live right now? Still on the job. Make that money. Yeah, hey, go to his channel and green screen that video, or go to my other channel and green screen it off there. It was uh, that Mike green screened it, and I green screened it, and then Ammo green screened it. Just funny way to show the original creator a little support. There you go. I missed it. I'm gonna have to check it out. What are you building? I'm gonna guess without asking you. I don't think you've told me yet, but probably a Ruger. Yeah, send it to me. Wait a little while though. I'm gonna do this live for about another half hour, and I'm gonna shut it down. I'm tired. Long week. How are you doing? Oh, yeah, you did tell me about that. I'm sorry. I try hard to remember everything, but I just, like I told you last night, I just need that refresher. What trigger are you putting it in there? I don't think you told me that. Who'd you get for a sponsor? No. These are all my daughter's firearms. She's 11. She competes, shoots steel challenge. She'll be shooting USPSA this year with us. All right. I'll wait and see. Jared is decent. You don't hear a lot about their triggers anymore, but I mean, for a long time, you only had a few options, right? You had JP Enterprise, you had the Rock Island, you had Jewel. I got a bunch of Jewel triggers. If you're familiar with Jared's, you probably know the Jewel trigger. They're not around no more. Phenomenal triggers. I have a few Timneys and stuff too. I don't dislike them. I think they're a little overpriced for what they are, but they're not bad. Which model Bursa? There you go. Yeah, I have a couple jewels, both my ARs. I mean, I look at them now, and you have so much adjustability. You can go from a 2-stage to a single stage. You can go from pounds to ounces, and I don't know. I understand why the company went away. I think it kind of, when that CMC came out, it kind of did in a lot of these higher end triggers. Not only were the CMC cheaper, which was like the biggest thing probably, but there were cassettes. I'm sure you remember when the cassette triggers for AR started coming out. Now everything's a cassette. But I mean, CMC, I still don't care for their triggers, but man, they sell a lot of them. BP9. Is that the one that looks like a Walther, like PPK? It's okay. I've had an ammo sponsor send me some ammo, and I went and tested it, and I gave them the results, and it was okay. And I just haven't got any more. Uh, oh fuck, was the name of that? There's a video on it. It's like I can't even remember what it was. Started with an A. I don't want to butcher the name, but I got some 9mm from them, and I got some rifle. And what it was is they were trying to pass it off as their ammo, and what it was is they were rebranding Cellar and Beloit. So they must have been buying the Cellar and Beloit in bulk, and then they were putting it in their own package in. And I think that's probably what did me in on them, because I started questioning them on it. But you got brand new rifle brass and pistol brass, and it's all marked S and B. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what's going on, which is fine, right? But right. So how'd you win it? I should ask you that. Is it just a raffle? Was it a benefit or a banquet? Were you racing, drag racing somebody? A fist fight, arm wrestle? My imagination's gonna go wild. I gotta know. That would have been pretty sweet. A 9 raffle. There you go. How much was that the raffle ticket, or how many entrances did you have? Entries. I don't ever win anything when I do raffles or even lottery tickets. I'll buy the stuff, but I won't ever put my name on it. I always give it to my wife or my kids or something else. I don't ever win, ever. At work, they do gun raffles usually every other week, and I pay the price, but I've never won. I've been doing that for over a decade, and you get these other guys who, I mean, they win like all the time. What else have you ran in or won in a raffle? Really? I'm not sure which one you're asking if it's an FN, but none of them are FNs. Yeah. That black clouds is expensive. When I still duck hunt, I bought cheap stuff, man. The just the high brass Remington. It gets discouraging, but I mean, that's gambling, right? I'm not a big gambler either. I've went to a casino a couple times, and I didn't win anything, so kind of makes it hard to wanna do it. Okay, that's more than I've ever won. Yeah, I mean, you're not shooting a 10 gauge full time out hunting, are you? What manufacturer and model is a 10 gauge? I'm not saying I'm gonna know what it is, but I'm curious. I would suspect that's probably enough. Probably about halfway through the day. But you live in a great area for duck hunting, goose hunting. SP10 with 30. There you go. I've never heard anything bad about the Mavericks. I mean, they're affordable. Give me a price range. And then two, do you not want a Glock because it's a Glock? Are you open to other striker fired polymer handguns, or do you strictly want a metal handgun? I don't think I ever saw that movie. Blu-ray Beethoven's Fifth. Yeah, I'm not. You got me. I'm not real familiar with that either. Um, yeah, I'm in that area. Smith and Wesson's, that would be a good recommendation. I'll let the guys in the comments tell you, as I have my area of firearms. I mean, my carry gun, I carry a Glock 26. Yeah, you gotta get what fits you. A big thing I think a lot of people do when they buy their first guns is they probably go a lot cheaper due to budget constraints than they probably should have. I've never heard anything bad about the PDP and the Springfield Echelons. I haven't seen anybody in person shooting them. I did want one when they first came out, and the local shop I deal with wasn't selling them, refused to sell them because they were distributor price. They were full retail price. They would have made no money on it unless they raised the price above everybody else, and it didn't make sense to them. But I'll admit, I did want one when they first came out. I liked the way the slide looked. I liked a lot of things about it, but I've kind of lost interest in it. Fubar, be quiet. P10's a great option too. So that's me trying to not cram CZs down everybody's throat, but a CZ P10 is a great buy. They're phenomenal firearms. Underpriced. In that price range, that 375, 400s, even the Stoger pistols, I think you get them, they're right around that same price. Kind of a undervalued gun. I know a few people that have the Stogers, and I've never seen anybody have anything bad to say about them. Yeah. Why wouldn't you EDC it? All holster options. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll tell you though, you'd be surprised how much has changed in like last 10 or 15 years when it comes to holsters and stuff. I'm left-handed. Riff Raff, how are you doing? So everything, almost all my holsters, with the exception of my um, holster for my race gun, I had all custom made over the years. That's probably why I still carry Glock 26. All the stuff for my 17, my competition subs, for them I had made, because nobody really had anything. Now there's all kinds of options for left-handers for, I mean, just about everything. But even 10 years ago, it just wasn't out there. Harris, how are you doing? What's going on? Yeah. The car 15s with the fixed carrying handles are badass. So the A1, that's the early, well, it's the A1 upper. Did you get the one with the shell deflector or without the shell deflector? All right, Dominic, appreciate you stopping. Give the channel a double tap on the screen. Yeah, mine are all right-handed too. My wife and I are both left-handed, and our kids are all right-handed. So like me being left-handed, if I want to open a can of SpaghettiOs or ravioli, I got to get my kids or wife to do it. To this day, I cannot use a right-handed can opener. Absolutely cannot. It's frustrating. My wife, she can do it, no problem. But left-handed people with right-handed can openers are no good. I've had a few Tauruses over the years. One was a PT-99. It was their Beretta clone. That was an impulse buy. That was when I found out that style pistol doesn't work good for left-handed people. But it was like a high, almost looked like a nickel finish, but it was stainless. But fixed carrying handles are great. Back to the basics sometimes. Them too. It wasn't that long ago that flat top ARs were not a thing. Everything had a fixed carrying handle, be it A1 or A2. But it's interesting to see how many people, back in the day would swap them out as soon as we could. And then now the younger generation, they're all going back to that. They want that vintage carrying handle. I have two fixed carrying handle AR-15s, and then I have a early Colt AR-9, and then we're all, like I said, carrying handles. The AR-9 is the A1 upper with the shell deflector, and then, all right, Orange Smoke, I appreciate you stopping and hanging out and chatting. We'll talk again, I'm sure. Well, you can still find them. There's a lot of companies actually that make the uppers. It kind of depends on what you're looking for. Like Daniel Defense, you're not going to find it, or Colt. You can find some. Bushmaster, they're in operation again. You can find, they carry them. But any of the real high-end stuff, Luth Arms. That Luth Arms, they have some badass shit on there. I keep going to their site. I like their early A1 stuff. I want to build another full-size A2, 20-inch barrel, but I want to do it that retro build with a pencil barrel, and I have some Vietnam era forearms and butt stocks, actual A1 butt stocks. They were shorter and they didn't have a trapdoor. And then, like I said, the triangle forearm, I want to put together, that retro. I could buy one, right? This is that buy or build. I could buy it, but that's something for me. I would build it. I don't think Black Rain Ordnance today is what it was 5 years ago, but you're not going to hear anybody say really anything bad about them. Um, when they first came out, it was a really uh, decent product, but like everything, they come out and they make a really good product, and then they start selling them, and that greed gets in the way. You know, if we sell more, we'll make more money, and because they want to sell more and make more money, the quality goes down. Some of them did. A lot of them too. They had just a standard barrel. It wasn't even a pencil. It was just a standard barrel, non-government cut. Uh, so all the government barrels, they started doing with the um, for the underbarrel grenade launchers. And that's what the purpose of it is it's a cut. But a lot of them used to have a fat, almost like a bull barrel, and then they would step down at the front sight, and then they would go the same contour all the way out. Anderson Arms at one time, it was kind of like Stag Arms. They were a big provider for some of these other bigger name companies. They were machining all the parts. Um, I think Anderson, they're good quality too. I'd agree with that. They, I think they, I don't think they lowered their quality, but they lowered their prices to kind of fit a more of an entry level type thing. I'd take an Anderson over a Palmetto State, or definitely like a Radical or an Omni or whatever else. But they were at one time, they were priced the same as Bushmasters and Colts and everything else, and they weren't making money. Um, if you want it for sport and for hunting, probably an LVPO with an illuminated reticle that gives you the benefit of like a red dot, and then it gives you the ability to reach out and touch something. Um, I don't know what kind of area you live in or how thick the cover is or anything, but probably a 1 to 6, 1 to 8, or you get a red dot with a flip to the side magnifier. That's a pretty good thing too. That may even be better for actual like hunting, because you don't have to manipulate the magnifier or the zoom. Well, it's all in what you want. You start look. Have you looked at like the LMT lowers? You can get an LMT lower for like $350. Vortex makes some. I have some Vortex magnifiers. If you get an Aimpoint or um, an EOTech, they have their own branded stuff. Uh, if you're building it for you, it's the aesthetic. I have a dissipator I built a couple years ago, and I got A1 furniture on that too. And it has a vibe. I get people busting my balls because, oh, it's got a carrying handle. Well, I didn't buy the gun to be a clone correct. I bought it because I wanted a dissipator. Um, and then I had the furniture. So when I put the gun together, I had the furniture. I put that furniture on there. It's a cool vibe, you know. 05. I personally, I couldn't say if one is better than the other, LVPO or a dot and a magnifier. They both kind of do the same thing. Um, Obviously, with the magnifier, they either uh, you have to swing them out in a direction or up and down, right? Where the LVPOs, it's nothing to move around. You just manipulate your magnification. Even like the magnifiers, uh, I've only been playing with them now for 4 years or so. I didn't see the purpose of it, and now that I've put magnifiers behind red dots, I do like it. For no other reason, it's nice when you go zero your rifle and or you want to shoot for accuracy. It's it's actually more practical than I ever thought they were or would be. You know, so the LVPOs too. I think the downfall to an LVPO is the tube size, right? It's not like a 30 millimeter or 50 millimeter. So they definitely don't pick up as much light or low light as a red dot does, but there's a purpose and a place for them. The LVPOs are cool with illuminated reticle because they're like a red dot where you can leave the cap flip down, so low light, you leave your front scope cap flip down, and obviously you're not going to zoom in on a target, both eyes open, have a glowing reticle. It's just like a red dot. So that's an advantage, or at least maybe not an advantage, but a dual purpose. So any of you guys that are still in here, if you haven't, give that screen a double tap. I'm gonna stop this live here in about 5 minutes. I want to eat some supper and just unwind. It was a long week. For the car 15, you can do Midwest Industries. That's technically a clone correct. Otherwise, just go with the standard carbine forearms. Yeah, get home. I think every once in a while, man, I feel guilty because it's you should be there with the family more, and then when you're with the family, you're like, oh, I wish I was doing this, but everybody's got to find that balance, and I don't do good with the balances. I'm all in or all out. But if I know a lot of other people, they really balance their time. One thing I've always done is Sundays have always been home days. Um, when I rode a lot, we would ride Friday, Saturday. Sundays were home days. When my mom was still alive, I'd take Sunday fun day rides out and visit her. But I always try to be with my family on Sundays. It's a good excuse to have some time to relax before you go back to work, but it's also a good excuse to not be getting called out to go do shit with your friends. Hey, let's go ride, let's go do this. And those times, I mean, that wasn't a 100% golden rule, but I mean, I always tried to Sunday are home days. And now, because my kids shoot and a lot of our matches are on Sunday, it's still family day, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you're saying you got um, an in-home office, so that's all right. Not sure what you're talking about, man. Uh, Number one, I don't sell firearms. I'm a hoarder. You can't be a hoarder and sell firearms. And number two, I don't own any airsofts. your kids come down and hang out with you in your office, or is that strictly your workspace? Everybody stays out. No, none of them are airsoft. These are actually my daughter's firearms. Yeah. Is it harder to work from home like that versus going into an office? Crunch, how are you doing? I'm gonna actually be getting out of here pretty quick, but I was promising people I'd show some of my kids' guns. These are my daughters. Is your wife a stay-at-home mom? Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I suppose if we sacrificed, I could too. My wife's a workaholic. She works, and that's just the way she is. Yeah, this is her stuff. I was gonna show my sons too, but his stuff, he's got more than she does. So I decided I'd split it up. Yeah, that'd be nice. It'd be nice being at home. They're all real, man. My son, he's 15. My daughter, who is the proud owner of these, she's 11. That'd be nice to be able to split your hours up like that. 4 a.m. sucks though. A lot of times I have to work. It's 4 to 2:30, and them days get long. Only proof I can give you is go to the channel and you will see him being shot. The pink pistol there is a Ruger 2245 light. So don't know what to tell you. They're all real. I'm not going to pick up and handle any firearms on a live because I'll get a strike for it. Yeah. But all right, this is my time. Yeah, it is. You guys are jumping in. I'm sorry to cut it off, but 5 o'clock here, I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna do another live. If you're curious what's going on here, these are my daughter's firearms. But I appreciate y'all jumping in again. You guys that are new here, I appreciate you jumping in. Give the channel a double click. Consider hitting the subscribe button. Winchester, Arthur Morgan. That's right as rain. But I gotta go. My food's here, so I need to eat. I'm sorry I'm cutting it off and missed you guys earlier, but y'all be good, and I'll see you another time.